Hmm. Hi. Hi everybody. Hello. Welcome to the seventh day of late night scaries. I'm so happy you could join Tedador and I. We're really thrilled to be a part of this wonderful comedy horror festival. I'm thrilled, but I'm also excited to share that we have a wonderful podcast that's going to be joining us in a few moments. So I just want to give a shout out to Pop Up Improv for sponsoring this wonderful night of scariness, right, Tedador? He said, right. Oh, it's exciting. So, without further ado, I just want to jump right into it. So, if we could give a round of applause if you have hands, I don't know, maybe you have tentacles. What's going on in your life? I don't know. But here's Spook Me Something Good.
Boo.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Uh, we are Spook Me Something Good. I'm Katie,
And I'm Corey.
and we normally do this sans the spooky as Teach Me Something Good.
But now we're doing it with spooks because
With
it's
spooks.
the spook season.
It's true.
Hence the bats and the lights and the ambiance.
Oh, I love spooky season.
Should we
Teach
should
each
that
other.
be our should that be our cold open and then we do the theme song?
Oh yeah.
I think we can do that. We've never
Yes.
done this live before, so it's going to be a lot of
So-
questioning each other.
So this is Spook Me Something Good. Cue music.
It's
You
as
really-
spooky as possible.
You knocked that out of the park. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. That is
Thank you
art.
so much.
That was art right there.
I mean, I do what I can. Also, I'm trying to
Well,
look as like menacing as possible.
You are-
I'm too nice for
You're-
Halloween, Katie.
you've got a Hawaiian shirt on. You're trying to look menacing. Come
Well,
on.
like, I don't know. Like,
Come on.
how about the vibe like Robin Williams in 1 Hour Photo? That kind of
I
creepy.
did that reference. Just
Oh,
gone.
you've never seen 1 Hour Photo?
nope.
So you know how
No
Robin
idea what
Williams
you're
is
talking
very
about.
nice?
Yeah.
He's not in this movie.
Interesting.
No, he's very disturbed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
well,
yeah, here we are.
this the live format really emphasizes that we have not nailed the opening. Usually we just chat at each other, and then Corey makes it sound like we've got our stuff together. But this is a podcast where we try to teach each other good things,
Interesting things.
interesting things. And this is the super special spooky version.
Spooky.
So
That's the count
thank you for that.
from.
Corey, you wanna just hop into it?
I think we should because I
Yeah.
have quite the doozy to discuss.
I'm so excited.
Because Katie
Oh.
and everyone watching at home and everyone who listens on the podcast, I haven't forgotten about you just because we're live. I'm here and I'm gonna. It's late. I'm tired, so I'm gonna get the microphone real close.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna look very menacing. Please, if you're watching live in the chat, let me know how menacing I am. I have flickering lights and everything. But
Okay,
There you go.
Les, now you're taking a shit.
There you go. Well, I
That's
mean, what's
menacing.
more menacing than a bowel movement? Especially when it can't come out. The story I'd like to share with you today is about the exorcism of Emma Schmidt.
I'm so excited.
Allegedly, this really happened.
Okay.
There are This story is one of the first recorded exorcisms in America,
Wow.
and it was apparently very well documented by a priest who was privy to the entire affair from
Okay.
beginning to end. And as we go through it, you'll see that this is either the story of a young woman destroyed by Satan, or a young woman destroyed by, well, like undiagnosed
Patriarchy?
undiagnosed mental illness at the turn of the
Oh,
century,
yeah,
combined
cool.
with a community that really didn't understand or care for. You know, I mean, you
My
you
money's on that one. So
yeah, it's definitely gonna be that one, but
Yeah.
I mean,
That's like
spooky.
fun to pretend that it's Satan, I guess.
Yeah,
Probably
absolutely.
wasn't fun for her. It's fun
No,
for us.
it was certainly not fun for her. So let's talk about Emma Schmidt.
Yes.
And if you don't care to know the story, they have made movies about this, so go and watch the movie, I guess. I don't know what it's called. You're going to have to do some searching, so, you know. Also, don't watch the movie. Listen to me. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Shit.
So we just lost everyone.
Yep. Oh, there goes the view count. Anyway. Emma Schmidt was an American woman born outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin at a very, very young age. She was born in 1882. No one cared about that. She was born in 1882 to a pair of German immigrants. We know her father's name was Jacob. I attempted to research through Ancestry to find an Emma Schmidt born in Wisconsin in 1882.
Okay.
Any information I could find did not match with the official account of the story.
Cool.
But it also was 1882.
Right.
So
Like records.
yeah,
That was not
records to I mean, the U.S. Census to German immigrants in basically the rural area outside of Milwaukee. I didn't have a
right.
ton of high hopes.
Yeah.
We know that her mother died. Emma's mother died when she was about 8 years old.
Okay.
She was raised Catholic, seemingly by her mother.
That is a total shocker.
Yeah, right. Her father despised the Catholic Church and apparently had a reputation of being an alcoholic and a skirt chaser.
Oops.
And there's no record of it, but he also may have been abusing her as well.
Yeah, again, I'm not exactly shocked.
Yeah.
So you're saying he was Satan in this situation?
I mean, that's more foretelling than anything else I could say in this story. So
Yeah.
Good job. We didn't even plan that. The story of Emma's demonic possession paints the light of either an abused teenager dealing poorly with trauma at the start of the 20th century in an ultra-conservative immigrant community, or an actual demonic possession.
Yeah, it's the first one.
We are not doctors, but
I mean, like, I've got a white coat on.
this is true. I mean, you have
In
and you have
TV
goggles.
world, I'm a doctor.
Absolutely. I mean, do you have a scalpel nearby?
No.
Perfect.
Jesus.
Good. That would be too suspicious.
I have a spoon.
You monster. I'm gonna sneeze. This will be edited out.
Beautiful. Are you talking? Are you muted? What's happening?
I wanted to sneeze, and it didn't work, and now I'm upset.
I'm sorry for your
That
loss.
ever happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the scariest feeling. It's like someone stole my sneeze.
It just makes me all like drippy, which I'm sure you wanted to know.
So at age 14, at age 14, Emma said she was unable to enter a Catholic church without, quote, violent thoughts entering
Dude,
her
I
mind.
feel that. I fucking feel that.
Right? I mean,
James and I went to a mac and cheese cook-off a few years ago. It was in like a parish hall of a church, and we both walked in and we were like, like,
what is all this stained glass?
like, we're gonna burst into flame.
This is true. And you, as far as we know, you're not possessed by anything.
I mean,
Maybe.
sure.
Uh-oh. That explains all that pea soup you vomited up.
Yes, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
That all pieces together now.
It is.
So here are some things that she wanted to do. She was repulsed by every part of the church. She wanted to
I
smash
feel
the
that,
fonts of the
girl.
holy water.
God, I feel that.
She wanted to harm and maim the priests.
Look, they probably deserved it.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
like-
honestly, so far, Homegirl's got them right. She's like, we need to reform the church.
yeah.
Like, we really need some church reform.
This just sounds like a 14-year-old girl who had to spend her life in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
She didn't want to take communion. Any items that were blessed by a priest were revolting to her.
Yeah.
And eventually she could not enter a church at all, claiming an interior hidden power was holding her back.
Lol. What an excuse.
Oh,
Corey,
I'm-
you went to Catholic school. Did you ever think about can't go
yeah.
to school today?
all this
Obsessed.
stuff. I'm just like, I mean, I have an interior hidden power stopping me from taking out the trash,
True.
right?
It's called depression.
Oh, we
I
have to
will
start calling it
say
our
that-
interior hidden power.
Yes. I will say that, like, overall, she's smart shit. The
Yeah.
problem is they called her bluff.
It's true. They really did. Oh, boy,
That's
did they.
really the problem.
So she was also said to be disturbed by, quote, thoughts about committing unspeakable sexual acts.
So any sexual acts, because it was
Yeah,
the
to wi-
1800s.
Yeah, exactly. Like at
So sex.
1882, like sex is the unspeakable
It's
sexual
so
act.
sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shocking. A 14-year-old girl who spent her life in the church suddenly is thinking about sex a whole lot and doesn't want to go to church. Oh my God, what could it be?
It's the devil.
I mean, is it trauma? Is it puberty? Is it trauma beset with puberty? No, gotta be Satan.
It's Satan.
Definitely Satan. So, she did believe that she was going insane.
Fair.
Which,
Look.
I mean,
You know, she probably.
we were 14 at some point. We all
Yeah,
felt we were
like-
going insane.
Yeah. You know. Feel that.
Many writings on the subject of Emma's possession, and I put that in quotes, seem to indicate
Thank you.
that her full possession happened in 1900 when she turned 18.
Okay.
Church
Because that's how Satan works.
Yep.
Satan's like,
Satan, I mean, let's be honest. Out of all the people in the world who would say the phrase, if there's grass on the patch, play ball, it's going to be Satan.
oh, gross.
Yeah,
Fine.
it's going to be Satan who
All
says
right.
that. So,
Woof.
it's fair. Yeah. Ugh.
Well, we just got the entire Pop-Up Improv YouTube channel. Just no option of monetization ever.
Oh, well, if that's the case, no. I won't go further. Real gangsters run red
Thank you.
lights. All right. Church officials delayed calling for an exorcism for 4 years because they said that she was just mentally ill.
What changed their minds?
She went to a variety of doctors who met her complaints with diagnoses of hallucination or, remember, it's 1904 at this point, pure hysteria.
Oh, fuck all.
While others said that she was normal in the fullest sense.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Medicine really come a long way,
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think.
no, well,
Eh,
I am worried that even the Catholic Church was like, well, hold on. Let's not jump straight to Satan. Go see a doctor. And then the doctors were like, well, you're a woman.
well, you're a lady, so it's Satan.
Yep, it's either Satan or just your lady times.
Your lady times. Okay.
Yeah.
So now she's possessed.
So yeah,
Official.
at
fish.
this point, she is possessed.
Okay.
And what the Catholic Church does now is they bring in an exorcist. So we get to talk about Father Theophilus Riesinger.
God damn. Who names these people?
Well, he was born in Germany.
Okay, fine.
So some Germans. He was born in Germany in 1899. He immigrated to the United States and practiced in New York City before moving to the Midwest. And by the time he moved to basically within a few months of moving to the Midwest, he got a call. Father Theo, we have a 22-year-old woman who definitely is possessed by Satan. Let's get her done.
Gross.
Yeah. So he attempted an exorcism on the 22-year-old woman, Anna. I'm sorry, Emma. There in the book that was written about her, she was named Anna Eklund, presumably to keep her
Like hide her
identity.
identity. Yeah.
Yeah. But her, from all accounts, her name was Emma. I mean, she's dead, or if she existed, she'd be dead by now.
Or is she still alive?
Through the power of Satan. But yeah, so if I say Anna, I mean Emma.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah. So Father Riesinger comes to Wisconsin and does an exorcism.
Okay.
And it seems to work. Looks fine. She's fine. All good to go.
Okay.
So let me set the stage now for a couple different things. One, after this exorcism, Father Riesinger becomes the nation's go-to for demonic exorcism.
Oh God.
He nails about one a year in America at that point. Yeah, he did 19 in 16 years. So
what a thing.
yeah, one and a quarter exorcism. You know that quarter exorcism.
That like just like a little. I need like a little Satan off the top.
Yeah, it's just like the power of Christ is asking nicely.
Please, like.
Come on.
Or it's like Satan's just like dipped his toe into you, like he's not like fully there yet, you know? It's like
my pinky is possessed.
my pinky's so angry.
It keeps poking me in the eye. Ah. Well, have you tried dipping it in holy water? It won't go in. It keeps curling. Well,
That was not the specific.
Yeah, we'll do a little tiny exorcism.
Okay, we digress.
Eensy weensy teeny weeny yellow polka dot exorcism.
Perfect.
Yep.
Title of my biography.
So I do have to share with you one of Emma's family members. So we know about her father, who is
a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Okay.
We have her mother, passed away. Clearly, she's not dealing well with that.
Right.
But now we need to talk about her Aunt Mina.
It's always the aunts.
So she is referred to as Aunt Mina.
Okay.
She may not have existed, or she may have been her aunt.
Okay.
Or she may have been her father's mistress.
Okay.
Or I guess if the mother is, I don't know when the relationship would have taken place. I assume if the mother is dead, it's not a mistress anymore. It's just your shorty.
Just a lady. Yeah.
As they said in the 1900s, yo, shorty!
Yes, they did. A little known fact.
Drop that wop over here. There doth be whores up in this house. Speaking of whores in this house, Aunt Mina.
Aunt Mina.
If she existed,
okay,
she was regarded in her community as a good old-fashioned witch. Yep. She may or may not have killed all of her children. Who can say?
That's like a good thing to have not well defined.
She also may or may not have put curses on Emma.
Okay, well, she didn't, because it's not possible.
Via cursed herbs.
Oh, okay.
She cursed some rosemary.
Yeah.
And sprinkled it on her fucking spetzel or whatever.
Honestly, what it was is food safety back then was trash. And they probably were all eating like God knows what kind of mold.
So like when you are a food science person, when
it's true.
In what decade would you feel most comfortable eating food that a normal American family would feed you?
Now. I don't. Is
2020.
that a question? I don't.
Like
No.
you wouldn't eat like a standard meal from the 1950s.
Yeah, I would say like 50s, 60s is where I
Okay.
draw the line.
Okay.
That's still pushing it. I mean, like we were not great with canned food until the like 70s or 80s, to be
Well,
honest.
and
And we like didn't really use meat thermometers until the 80s, 90s. So
oh god. I do love that this is our, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is one of our patented Corey knows something tangents. These will
I'm so
get cut
excited.
out probably and put into an extra episode, which you can find at teachme.show.
Beautiful plug.
So, gelatin used to take a fucking, you probably know this, but gelatin used to take fucking forever to craft and create. You had to
Yeah.
boil down a bunch of horse's bones or
A lot of
whatever.
bones. Yeah.
But they figured out how to mass produce it around the 50s.
Okay.
And because gelatin used to be seen, because it was so hard to craft, it was usually seen as a luxury.
Right.
Once they started mass producing gelatin, Knox, Jello, things like that, it was so easily available. That's why you have so many gross things like aspic
Oh
and
my
hot
gosh.
dog Jello.
That
It's because,
explains.
yeah,
Oh, I have my grandmother's, her church made a cookbook in 1965, and the amount of meat jello
yeah.
in that cookbook is a fucking crime against humanity.
It's one of those patently American things where once we figure out how to mass produce something, we have absolutely zero restraint.
I'm pretty sure there's that recipe for like tuna fish jello, and I'm
There's
just like,
yep. Anytime you suspend meat in a gelatin, it's called an aspic,
and
it's what
and you
you
should be
do.
killed.
It's generally what you do after you eat it. You're picking your ass to get it all out. So
Thank you for
I
that.
digress.
We digress.
Exorcisms.
Exorcisms and
So,
witches,
Yes,
apparently.
and witches. Now we've got witches on board. Aunt Mina was a witch, may have
Sure.
cursed her food.
Unlikely.
So while Father Riesinger is doing his, magical mystery tour, 19 exorcisms in 16 years. I mean,
What a
like,
name for it.
that's how much the Grateful Dead tour. So I mean,
Fair,
yeah.
fair enough.
Um,
Oh God.
tell your
Do you think he had
boyfriend to stop texting
groupies?
us.
Is he texting us?
He's probably.
Doesn't he know we're recording?
Yell at him right now.
Fucking
Fucking James. Anyway, so yes, by that point, Father Riesinger is going on his nationwide tour. I assume it's kind of like a Scooby Doo thing. You know when Scooby chases the ghost through the mansion? I figured that's what he's doing. It's just the same devil
It's
going
just
to
the
different people.
same devil. I just would like to imagine that he had groupies.
He had a van. Well, I guess it was a carriage.
Yes.
It had some
much
hay
like
in the back.
crucifixes hanging instead of like psychedelic beads.
Just rosary beads.
Rosary beads.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a thing.
So, in that time span, Emma's father died. Aunt Mina, if she existed, she is dead at this point.
What a wild time.
She then starts to, I don't know how exorcisms work, but I guess she got worse or repossessed. And it's not like Satan took her back because she wasn't paying
when
anyone.
that happens.
Yeah, you know when you don't pay Satan, so he takes your stuff. You have not been sacrificing to the Dark Lord, so we're gonna have to take your couch.
We're gonna have to repossess you.
We put a boot on your car until you can give us 2 votes. I was watching 16 and Pregnant today because I do that. And
Love that.
this girl, she's 16 and pregnant, as it says
What?
on the tin.
What?
And she was worried about her hospital bills. And she was like, well, the hospital told us that if I don't pay the hospital bills, I can't have the baby. To which I said, are they going to put a boot on your cooch? They can't do
You can't do
that.
that.
Like, you're going to have the baby, sweetie.
You can be in debt for the rest of your life, and they can
And she
come
will
the
be. She's
heck
on 16 and
after
pregnant,
you.
But
They can't
Yeah.
deny you care.
they'll just take the baby until you pay.
Lol.
Uh, anyway. Okay.
Anyway.
So she's living now in a convent in Iowa.
Okay.
And she is repossessed by a group of demons.
So she was
Someone-
bored of the convent.
She
and was
must have
"I
been
need to
bored.
Get out.
So they, Father Riesinger comes to this convent because they need to get her fixed once and for all. So they
Okay.
have basically a 3-month exorcism.
Oh my god.
And now this is really rough. Like, remember, this is over the course of 3 months. I'm going to speed through it, but here are some things that were noted that happened during these exorcisms. So during one exorcism, she was convulsing. Oh, I should also let you know, she once the exorcism started, she was pretty much on a diet of fluids. They wouldn't give her, like, she wouldn't.
Jesus.
She was not given food.
Good God.
Allegedly, the priestesses, the nuns. Come on, Corey.
Yeah, the priestesses are on the Satan side.
Gotcha. That's where I went wrong. The nuns would sometimes try to bless her food and sprinkle it with holy water, and she knew every time, probably because all her food was soaked in water.
Yeah.
But they said she knew. So she didn't eat a whole lot.
Okay.
She only drank some liquid. All right. So at this time, she was convulsing. So the strongest nuns were holding her down. She dislodged herself from the bed and landed high above the door of the room and clung to the wall with cat-like grips.
Yeah, okay.
People report hearing a variety of voices coming from her body and not her mouth. Somehow an increased body weight and impossible contortion of her body.
Okay.
So
Sure.
all of this was documented in a pamphlet. It's a book. It's a novella.
Okay.
It's 45 pages. So calling it a pamphlet
It's a
seems a little
sign.
disingenuous.
It's a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like.
Is there a brew your own holy water recipe in the back? Because it's a sign.
And a crossword puzzle.
Yep. Like a bad hand drawn one.
Hell yeah, it's all crooked. So, but it was written by Reverend Carl Vogel. He wrote this. You can find this at your local library. I think the title is Beware Satan, but I will confirm.
Good.
Or someone else can confirm for me.
Some nice dramatic effect.
He noted that Satan, in his speeches and answers, did not use the tongue of the poor possessed girl to make himself understood. And that phrasing is in both senses of the term, in which they noted that she became a ventriloquist and could talk not from her mouth, but also she spoke English, makes sense, German, sure, and Latin. You're in a convent. You probably picked up a little Latin.
Yeah.
In these voices, Father Riesinger asked the spirit inside Emma why she was possessed. The spirit, and at this point, this is a therapy session.
Right. Like a really, really fucked up therapy session. Yeah, it's a bad therapy session.
Yeah. So Father Riesinger, in the role of the therapist, asked, hey, why is this happening? The spirit inside, I didn't even put that in quotes. Come on. The spirit inside stated that Emma's father, Jacob, was the cause of the possession, having cursed the spirits into her.
So he was abusing her.
If a kid drew that in crayon on SVU, everyone would know what happened.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, The
Well,
sad part is that just clicked. I typed this up 2 days ago. The spirits possessed her under the command of Satan himself. So now she's coloring outside the lines. All right.
yeah.
Reverend Vogel also noted that Emma's face became, quote, so twisted and distorted that no one would recognize its features.
Yeah, because she was upset and they were starving her.
Yes. Her pale, emaciated head, I wonder why it's emaciated, often extended to the size of an inverted water pitcher, and that her thin, trying to turn the page, her thin, emaciated body would bloat up to such an enormous size that at the first occurrence, the pastor and sisters drew back out of fright, thinking that she would be torn to pieces and burst open.
I mean, that is literally what happens to people when you starve them.
That's what I was going to confirm with you, doctor.
Yes.
When you don't eat food, you
Your stomach
distend.
bloats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good God. These people are
So-
idiots.
Yeah, very much so. She vomited large quantities of foul matter, even though she ate nothing and drank little. But yeah, I mean,
No
nothing, yeah, nothing here. This is not. I
Oh,
apologize.
so she
for-
threw up bile when you
Yeah. They-
weren't feeding her.
they described it as it looked like chewing tobacco, even though she had never chewed tobacco. But like, what does chewing tobacco look like? It looks like brown muck.
Blood.
Yeah, it looks like
Dried
Like,
blood. These people are terrible.
oh, absolutely, they are. This is what's.
Jesus
You know what's scary?
Christ.
The 1900s. That's the scariest thing we can talk about tonight.
Mm. Absolutely. Just to add
So,
that.
A pastor at the convent, while this was happening, and I will explain how long this happened exactly. He was hearing voices and disturbances in his room at night, and got into a mysterious car accident.
So schizophrenic or a drunk.
He's either drunk or guilty and not sleeping because he's abusing this poor girl.
Right.
So they did 3 exorcism sessions. They did 8 days in August, 7 days in September, and 8 days in December.
Good God. This poor girl.
October and November, they took off for Halloween and Thanksgiving, I guess.
How nice.
Because what's the better lawn decoration than a possessed woman?
So bad. It's so bad. Hey guys, come look at our real possessed girl.
Oh no, she's chained up like Ed at the end of Shaun of the
Oh
Dead.
my God. We're so
Apologies in advance. That was very insensitive of me. On 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. on December 23rd, 1928. Alexa, when was the Great Depression?
It was like the 30s. It started in like the 30s.
Right, so she got better just in
31.
time for the Great Depression. That's
Woof.
fantastic.
She slept. She was possessed through the roaring 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
And
What a
then,
what a waste of time, man.
What
She
a
could've
waste.
lived it up. Get depressed.
Yeah.
Get possessed and depressed in the 30s. Come on. Everyone else
True.
was.
Everyone
At
else
9
was.
p.m., December 23rd, 1928, Emma suddenly leapt up from her bed and began softly muttering, Beelzebub, Judas, Jacob, Mina, hell, hell, hell. There's your new ringtone. A few minutes later, she sat up and stated to her stunned audience, From what a terrible burden have I been freed at last. My Jesus' mercy. Praised be Jesus Christ. All done.
I'm sorry. What?
Done.
She just.
Yep.
She was done.
She
She
was
was
just-
like,
I
what
mean-
on actual earth?
And
God,
this
what a wild time.
is regarded as a raging success.
Man.
The exorcism of Emma Schmidt was meant to stay under wraps. The nuns that endured the ordeal all requested transfers and were relocated within a year.
Yeah, they
Father
probably all
Riesinger
needed fucking
continued-
therapy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Father Riesinger continued exercising.
Yeah, I don't like
exorcising.
him.
I mean, I'm
I
sure
don't-
he did like free weights, but
Ah,
he started exercising until his death in November 1941. You know, at the right in the middle of World War II. Great.
yeah, right? Yes.
By all accounts, and these are the loosest of accounts because the only
Right. I
things
mean,
could-
literally, this story had a person who you're like, no one even knows if she existed.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
you know.
By all accounts, she was able to resume a perfectly normal life, practicing as a devout Catholic, and never again being tormented by the demons that stole nearly 4 decades of her life. 4
What?
decades? Well, I guess maybe 3 decades, but whatever. And then she died in the 50s, and I can't find her grave.
So maybe she didn't.
That's
I just. What?
that's the story of psychiatry in the
That's
turn of the
insane.
century. Oh boy.
So it sucked almost as much as it does now.
I mean, a little better.
It is a little better. I will say my psychiatrist has not tried to chain me down and put me on an all fluids diet. So
And at the very least,
cheers to that.
if someone went to their doctors today and said, "Doctor, I have thoughts about committing unspeakable sexual acts and I can't enter a church," they would at least go, "Would you like some Lexapro?"
It's true.
So, I mean, you know, a
And
little
like
better.
maybe some birth control.
Oh yeah, just like, I mean, have
And
you
here's
thought
the
about acting
pill.
with it? Yeah. What are these unspeakable sexual acts? Holding hands.
Oh no. You woof. God. Well, that was terrifying.
It was terrifying. If you're empathetic and want to travel back in time, maybe don't.
No. Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. So now for something completely different.
Yes, please.
So I've got my mad scientist get up on.
I love it.
Because we gotta talk about rabies.
Rabies is scary.
I'm so excited.
I mean, it basically turns you into a zombie.
It does. It's I mean, okay, so I love rabies.
Weird thing to say. There's our
I
next
know.
T-shirt. Got it. I heart rabies.
I heart rabies. I do though. So I mean, it's terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Like it, as a microbiologist and a virologist, like of all of the diseases known to mankind, rabies is the numero uno would not want.
Oh, really?
It is a shit way to go.
Like worse than leprosy.
Yeah, it's a bad way to go. So,
Oh man.
but I do love rabies because it's. I remember
Keep saying
learning.
it,
I do. It's really cool. So like when it's near and dear to my heart because when I remember learning about rabies in my first one of my first microbiology classes, and it's really fascinating. So rabies is caused by a virus.
Okay.
And it is in the Rhabdoviridae family. It's a type of Lissa virus. So there's a couple other relatives, but we're just going to talk about the rabies virus.
Okay.
So a lot of people know or have heard of rabies, especially if you have a dog or a cat, vaccinated against it.
Or if you're afraid of going outside.
That too, yes. Though it is hard to get the vaccine is like an intense process. There's like multiple shots, yeah.
All right.
And they don't usually give it to humans unless you're very likely to experience exposure. So rabies is transmitted from animals to humans through bites. This is why, like, don't fucking think that you're gonna make a raccoon a pet. It's like the dumbest.
This is gonna be a dumb question. Is it from the saliva or the teeth?
It's from the saliva, and we'll
Okay.
get to that.
Cool.
So, yes, it's from the saliva, and so this is why if you get bit by a wild animal, or scratched, or in any sort of physical contact with an animal that could have broken skin, you need to call your local health department immediately. Because the thing about rabies is when treated, you're fine. Currently, there's no documented cases of people who were treated prior to clinical symptoms. And there are about 40,000 people in the US treated every year who ever get sick. However, of all of the people who've progressed to clinical infection, like it depends where you look, but it's 3 to 6 people have lived. And they all had brain damage. So it's one of those things that it's like, if you even like might have an exposure, you just get the treatment.
And it's not like you're gonna not know that you might have gotten exposed.
I mean, yeah, probably like you're like you would have had like effectively what has to happen is the animal has to break skin. And so like generally, you know, if you've had an encounter with an animal
Right.
where it broke skin. I mean, and what frequently happens, right, is someone will like notice a raccoon being erratic during the daytime. Like that's really abnormal behavior for most wild animals, or pets will start acting aggressive, things like that. And so you
Okay.
usually have an idea. And same thing, bats in general. If a bat is in your house, like it, you know, you
Burn the
should
house down.
probably just, yeah, that one. Yeah, absolutely. We digress because we can't help ourselves.
Absolutely.
My partner, James,
Yes.
his grandmother, who's in her, oh, she just turned 90, I think.
Wow.
Uh,
Congrats.
yeah,
Good run.
she had a bat in her house a few weeks ago and frickin' took it down with a cane.
What? Whoa. Well, now hold on. If you're taking it down with a cane, that's precision.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy smokes.
she really knocked that one out of the park. Anyway, so rabies.
Rabies.
Why is it so cool? So I will explain how the clinical progression of rabies works. So
Please.
you get
Fascinating.
bit by an
Ouch.
animal that is rabid.
Oh, ouch. I got a bite.
You were an idiot and you didn't call your health department because you thought you were invincible.
It was a
Um,
Saturday. I don't know.
yeah, but
They're
you know,
closed.
it happens.
Gotta
It
be closed.
happens. It's fine. So the virus is shed in the saliva
Okay.
and gets into the wound and actually grows in the muscle tissue.
Oh,
And it grows there. It doesn't really cause a lot of damage while it's there. It's
I
just
feel
kind
fine.
of
Good.
they just kind of increase their numbers. And it can stay in your muscle tissue for a couple of weeks.
Oh,
However, eventually they reach sort of this critical mass where they actually start budding off from your muscle tissue into your neurons.
oh no.
And once they're in your neurons, they actually travel along the synapses, which are the gaps between your neurons. They can
Right.
bud off and transfer themselves between the synapses. And so they can travel through your central nervous system. And it's interesting for so many reasons. But one of the big, really interesting ones is it doesn't cause like cell death. Like you become infected and
Right.
like you eventually progress to having pretty severe neurological symptoms, but you actually don't get a lot of cell death. And no one really
That's interesting.
understands why. Yeah, it's really wild. So at
I
that
guess
point,
is it not attacking cells? It's just kind of
it's
bypassing
kind of
it?
just growing in them. Yeah, but the thing that's interesting is it's doing something to them.
Okay.
Because the cells it's growing in, like there are neurological symptoms associated with rabies
Right.
clinical infection, but like there's not like just outright death. It's very, very interesting. There's a whole lot of like neuro stuff with
Yeah.
rabies that I'm just like, oh, okay, we'll move on. But so at this point is when you're screwed.
Okay.
So when it's still in your muscle tissue, you can get what's called post-exposure prophylaxis, which is what the health department will give you. So
Oh, okay.
it's a combination of shots,
Right.
and then also it's called RIG, and it's a like an it's not, I
smoothie.
don't know if it's an antibody or something, but it's
Oh,
called
okay.
RIG, and it's actually put directly into the wound. And so that plus the post-exposure shots, which you have to get like 3 of them over the course of like 2 weeks,
Okay.
that will stop it. But once you've started showing symptoms, you're really fucked. But if it's in your nervous system and it hasn't traveled that far, there are some treatments that may work. And one interesting thing is the further away from your brain you're bit, the longer you have.
So it really is like if I get bit in the foot, it's going to take longer than if they bite me in the.
Yeah.
I wanted to say face, but I guess
just
that happens.
right on the face. Yeah, that happens. Or like neck.
Who can resist that? Look at that.
Yeah. So because it travels up through,
Right.
and so generally that stage is not marked by a lot of clinical symptoms. When it gets into your brain is when shit really goes off the rails. So it gets into your brain and it does a bunch of things, but the really common thing that's like talked about a lot is called it forms negri bodies, which are they're
That
almost like
sounds
little they
vaguely
look
racist.
yeah, they look like tiny little tumory things almost. They're really like they're up in your brain and they're fucking shit up. And so it's interesting though, and this is why I love rabies, is so the neurologic symptoms that are associated with rabies
You're like afraid
encourage
of water,
its
right?
yeah, so they encourage its transmission. So the first thing is it
Ooh.
makes you aggressive, right? It makes animals aggressive and it can make humans aggressive, so you're more likely to bite things. Also, it makes you severely hydrophobic. So it causes so much pain in your throat that the idea of drinking water is so horrific that you actually become afraid of water.
But
And then you start foaming at the mouth because it's too painful to swallow.
so
And
if you
then
start foaming at the mouth, that's your saliva going, and that's where the
and it grows in your salivary glands. So it makes you more likely to bite people, more likely to release your saliva into the environment, and it grows in your freaking saliva. And all it is like a little tiny protein coat with some genes inside of it. And it like turns you into a rabies zombie and then it kills you. But before then,
what
it still sucks because you're like, it's really painful,
I
apparently.
have so many questions. Question the most essential question is, how does it kill you exactly?
Respiratory failure.
Oh, because
It causes
not
like
drinking.
shutdowns. I think it causes like slow degradation of your central nervous system.
Fun. Always a
That's
fun
my
time.
understanding.
Second, how is it just you don't want to drink water, or you want to will it combine so you want to fight the water?
Yes, so from what I've seen, it actually can make you like afraid of water. Though it's not super clear on that situation.
Are there any other like diseases like rabies that actively give you a phobia?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I don't think, not that we know of, but
Let me tell you,
man, like our understanding. Sorry, I just cut you off.
you're putting me back on you're getting me on rabies side here. I mean, I'm fascinated. I might love rabies too. This is
It's kind of cool. I mean,
crazy.
it was one of the first times that I remember being like, I want to be a virologist. This is really cool because
Okay.
I really just this thing of like rabies, viruses, they're all, these minuscule, they're not even living technically, right? When they're by themselves, they're not living. They're just like a little bit of genetic material, like, a fraction of the genetic material that's in a human just sitting in a protein coat, and they can do this insane amount of damage and cause all these really, really complex behavioral changes. And it's like, that is cool shit. It's really, really cool.
it basically shares the same like process structure as your mythical zombies.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons that definitely captures imagination. I mean, there are a good amount of people that still die from it every year, mostly not in the US. Usually the big thing is if there's a robust domestic animal vaccination program, you see rates drop off a lot. Dogs are really, stray dogs are a huge concern for rabies.
Makes a lot of sense.
And so if you don't have that, you really, really cut down on your exposure. And so the last thing I have on this, really, the last thing I want to hit, and it's extra interesting because you also talked about Milwaukee.
Oh boy.
So it's called the Milwaukee Protocol, which is like just a cool name.
Is it? Can I just guess right now? Is the Milwaukee Protocol like a garbage plate of fries, some cheese curds, and a good hearty don't you know?
I wish.
That's how you cure rabies, everyone.
Turns out, yeah. So the Milwaukee Protocol was
Go Brewers.
First established in, oh man, I wrote down, who knows? It doesn't say. The thing I downloaded so doesn't give a time. It was not that long ago. Because effectively what it
2012.
is you put someone in a coma and you
no.
let them ride out the rabies infection in a coma, because you can, by reducing brain activity, you can protect the central nervous system sometimes from the damage long enough for the body to mount an appropriate response to get rid of the virus. Because usually what happens in clinical progression of rabies is your body can't mount an immune attack fast enough. Like, you're getting more nervous system damage than your body can fight back. And so the idea of the Milwaukee protocol is, if you put someone in a coma, you can actually protect their nervous system. Again, only worked for 3 people. So like, it's not a like.
Is that a protocol or just
look,
a wild guess?
Literally when you read on the internet's like, I don't like it's only gotten like popularity because, for rabies,
it's named the Milwaukee protocol.
Right. Yes. And also, to live after clinical rabies is, even a minuscule chance is better than, no, you're gonna die and it's gonna suck dicks. Like,
is it?
You're gonna be like Old Yeller.
Oh my God.
Going.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Is it safe to say that like the neurons in your nervous system, when this thing is kind of like going through them, is it kind of like when you hop on like a walking escalator, like it speeds you up a little? So like if they're not working, then you have to, like, the rabies is just like, oh fuck, I have to walk.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with all of the kind of way that would work. But yeah, I think that would definitely be part of it.
For those 3 people whose bodies are airports.
Yeah, because effectively, right, the way viruses work is they hijack your cells' machinery.
Right. Okay.
And so if you slow down your cell's machinery, you can, in theory, slow down production of the virus, and your body can. So, but again, it's only worked for 3 people. So like, let's hardly call this a thing.
Well, what have we learned today? 1, just fucking stay away from Milwaukee.
As the 1800s.
2, the 2 scariest things I can think of are rabid dogs and the Catholic Church.
True. That was true before tonight.
And it's just reinforced today. Yep. Wow. I'm scared. I'm now sufficient. Because
don't you also a little bit heart rabies now?
I do. It's kind of like, when you like see a toddler try to climb up some steps and then he does it. It's like, oh, little buddy, you did it.
It's just like, for me, it really drives home the need to respect all of the components of our living world.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
It's not even life. It's the basic blocks of a chicken nugget making you fucking.
Right. Which is so crazy. Like, I think that if anything that points to, we need to think about how we define like life and what is what is this ecosystem that we exist in, really. I don't know. I could wax poetic about this for days.
It's not really life, though, until rabies starts infecting politicians to get them to lobby for less rabies testing. Once they get a politician...
That's a zombie novel right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that book.
Write that down. Rabies takes over Congress. Check.
Perfect. Well...
We've gotten 3 red lights already, so
I
think we should.
I think we should.
I think we should go home.
Yeah.
Well, we should leave the Zoom.
We should at least leave the Zoom. I could talk rabies offline for at least another hour though. So.
And I will be here. You can lull me to sleep with more interesting viromechanics of the world's
That's
scariest diseases.
perfect. Well, this
So
was a
let's.
blast.
This was awesome. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
Maybe once a month, and we'll put it on. No one's talking to you. No one. Again,
Harry,
every
you've got
time.
to figure your Alexa problem out.
Every time I come on pop up improv, I yell at the stupid
Yeah.
fucking.
It's like your bit now.
Oh God. Anyway, thank you for listening to Spook Me Something Good. Let me look menacing. Arm back. Yes, menacing. You just look fierce. You can't. Yeah, now you're just adorable. Go to our website, teachme.show. You can listen to all of our old episodes and some really great extras. You can also check out our Twitter. We are at teachmeshow. We are also on Facebook. I think our URL is at teachmeshow. And, find us on all of your favorite podcast things. We have merchandise as well. You can find those on our Twitter or Facebook as well. Get our brand new T-shirt that says "What's more bisexual than a banana?"
Ah,
It's
I'm
amazing,
so excited.
so good. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Pop Up Improv,
Thank you very
for
much.
letting
Pop-Up
us do
Improv.
this
Late night
on your channel.
scaries. Thank you.
Yeah.
Should I play the theme song one more time to
Sure.
whisk us away?
To whisk us away.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, I can't wait for my ability to buy the new I Heart Rabies t-shirt for sure that will be coming to teachme.show. So make sure you get on that and get on those Twitters and start tweeting that we want that t-shirt because I know Tedador also wants a t-shirt. Hopefully it comes in extra small. Thank you all so much for taking part in, again, night 7 of this 31 night extravaganza of a festival at Late Night Scaries. So make sure that you go and check out latenightscaries.com for the full schedule. And also check back tomorrow and every night after that, after tonight at 10 p.m. for more creepy, scary shows. Again, thank you so much, Pop Up Improv, for your wonderful hospitality for us. And everyone, enjoy your creepy night. Don't catch any rabies.